Oh, come on. Save me. Let me just make videos and save me. The rest of the night.
Most important feature in her eyes is now unknown to her. Freddy's weak spot is his heart. He wants to help. He is of good nature. So when he is shattered, his chest is gutted. The safe spot for Gregory is now gone, along with Freddy's friendly persona. Now the emphasis on Shattered Freddy is because he seems to be returning in Ruin, the DLC of Security Breach. Or at least Glamrock Freddy is returning in Ruin in a busted state, but all we can see is his legs. So we don't know which ending this is after. If this is after one of the endings where Freddy is broken, after the one where Gregory fixes and takes Freddy's head with him, or if there's an alternative. All we know is from the fact that he's moving, some part of Freddy will be returning very soon. The final iteration of Freddy might just be a merch design, but here's Clown Freddy. He's part of a well-detailed, cartoonish-looking clown and balloon animatronic line. So far, they haven't been used for anything, but they might in the future.
Nice.
Though beyond that, we know Freddy will return in another animatronic form in the future. Though whether he'll be friend or foe, whether he'll be the focus or just one in the crowd, whether it'll be one bear or many, we won't know until we get there. Now let's discuss the movie. It's not out yet. Now let's discuss the books. In The Silver Eyes, Freddy and his band are abandoned at Freddy's in an unopened mall when the main character, Charlie, and her friends arrive. At the command of the purple guy, i.e. William Afton, i.e. Dave, they hunt the group of teens down until later realizing the truth and turning on Dave. They end the story dragging William off as he's suffering from a springlock failure. In The Twisted Ones, Freddy reappears alongside his bandmate sitting in the local police chief's basement before waking up to fight the baddies, the Twisted Ones. Then they walk away and they're gone. The band's lack of importance in the story is largely due to the introduction of the real villains, the Twisted Ones, animatronics who use illusion technology to look like monsters. Twisted Freddy being the most important of the group, as not only does he kidnap Charlie at one point, but he later kills her, and that is kills in huge quotations. Freddy kind of appears in the fourth closet. So in the fourth closet, Afton has melted the animatronics down into a mass of wires and metal, one that sounds similar to either Molten Freddy or the Blob. In the graphic novel, it looks like this. Yeah, the gang's all here. Golden Freddy also appears in the trilogy. There he is possessed by Charlie and her friend's childhood friend Michael Brooks, and he is part of the reason the animatronics realize that Afton is not who he seems. He briefly appears in the Twisted Ones to take the band away after the confrontation as well. His soul appears with the others in the fourth closet, but his physical body, Golden Freddy himself, does not appear. Funtime Freddy appears in the fourth closet sans Bonbon. He, if I recall right, runs headfirst into a merry-go-round and really bangs himself up. That's kind of really the only exciting thing about him. Sure, he chases the protagonists around a bit, but he's not a real big deal. With the trilogy over, let's move on to the short stories. Freddy appears in a lot of Fazbear Fright stories for short cameos, so I'm going to melt this down to just the larger roles so I don't spend all day listing the amount of times Faz comes up. Firstly, Lonely Freddy is featured in a story of the same name. Lonely Freddys are small bear animatronics built somehow with the capabilities of pulling out the souls of children, trapping them, and replacing them with their own, assumedly artificial soul. How this works is never explained, and considering the whole process is done by Lonely Freddy flashing his eyes, I'm surprised it succeeds in anything beyond giving the kids seizures. In the titular story, an angry and likely neglected teenager ruins his favorite younger sister's birthday party and runs off into the back rooms of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There he runs into the small Freddy known as Lonely Freddy. When he turns it on, it pulls him into a hypnotic trance with flashing lights. Suddenly, they switch bodies, with the soul inside Lonely Freddy running off to live his life while a teen stumbles around the pizzeria before being thrown into a dumpster with a bunch of other possessed Lonely Freddys. The end. The next example of Freddy is in Tag-Along Freddy. A single father with a dead wife, an almost constantly reoccurring theme in the series, is stressed out and gets a Tag-Along Freddy doll that he can use to help monitor his young son. One day, the son goes missing, and Tag-Along Freddy is left behind. Tag-Along Freddy suggests he goes to the local site where everyone takes their lives. The Cliffs. Yes, killing oneself is also a very prominent theme in these children's books. He eventually goes to the Cliffs and finds his son trapped in a hole. The end. Count the Ways is a story that features not Freddy, but Funtime Freddy. I've mentioned it before, so I'll be brief here. Angsty teenage girl who's been neglected and abandoned by her parents climbs into an oversized Funtime Freddy. He mentally tortures her for a few pages while she thinks back to how miserable her life is, and then he kills her. The end. Fun fact, though, so a few of the other Fazbear Frights books throw in lines from the games, such as in Room for One More, where the mini-arenas are given lines from both Bonnet and Lefty. However, this is the first case where a line from the book is then used in the games, as in the case of this line that shows up in FNAF AR.
There's nothing I want from you except your life.
Though, like I said, Funtime Freddy was in creation hiatus for a long time, being teased since the beginning but not introduced until the end of the game's run cycle. So it is possible that maybe this was a reused line from the games, i.e. the books found out about the game lines before we did, but I don't see how that could have happened. Pizza Kit has a Freddy cameo that's a little bigger. That is, the main character thinks she killed her friend at Freddy's Pizza Factory. Yeah, that exists. And starts having nightmares, one of which is Freddy dumping bodies in the sauce, which is pretty much on brand with Freddy's. Finally, we have You're the Band, a cut FNAF story from the lineup that was released as a bonus book. Ironically, it's the story that feels the most traditionally FNAF. A mother gifts her Freddy-loving son an authentic Freddy mask, though afterwards he starts acting strange, like a completely different person. To keep a long story short, she starts getting stalked by Mike. Yeah, the Mike. And eventually the boy runs off to Freddy's, where they discover that he is being possessed by none other than Freddy himself through the mask. The puppet drops through the ceiling for a hot second. The mother returns the mask and the boy is freed. They leave, and Mike brings them up to speed on the way home, and the story ends on a happy note with FNAF's first decent non-dead mother. The end. So, that pretty much rounds out Fazbear Frights. Now on to the follow-up series, Tales of the Pizzaplex. Glamrock Freddy is only really seen once in Tales of the Pizzaplex. Sure, he's sparsely mentioned, but the closest thing he gets to a feature is one of the books where they're discussing the animatronics acting out a character. Freddy tries to steal a toy from a child and then walks into the corner and cries, a very bizarre and childish characteristic. Part of me wonders if this fussy Freddy was supposed to be a nod to the Material Girl Freddy meme, but I've got no evidence. Now, the reason for this character change is because of the Elvis-themed tiger who lives inside of the tree that controls all the animatronics, and a hive mind has caught the bunny who flew. Likely because the man who was Henry in everything but name built an endoskeleton and beat it up, and it didn't take it so well. Yes, everything I just said is in the books, and how I explained it is how it feels. Alas, this is the ending of Freddy's journey. I really have to start finding a better way to end these. While the star of the show, Freddy Fazbear, has shined bright and burned low between his many roles, standing out more in some compared to the others.
So, who was your favorite Freddy?
None of them. Toy Freddy, he's the only one that ain't creepy.
Come on, not even the ones that don't have you playing as a night guard, like
I said,
FNAF World,
Toy
Freddy in
he's the only
Space,
one that ain't
Freddy in
creepy.
Space
No.
2, the fighting
They
game.
all have the creepy things in them, in some form or another.
My favorite Freddy was fucking Nightmare Freddy.
Like I said, if I had to pick one, it'd have to be Toy
Or
Freddy.
Funtime Freddy. Funtime. Yeah, my favorite
Toy Freddy's the only one that ain't
I like
creepy.
Funtime Freddy.
That thing can stay away from me. It's not eating me.
Don't it captures you into its chest cavity, and it gives you, and it lets you choose how you die, and then it counts down to like 3, like I want to say British, or not British, but
I
a different
stay
language.
there until I die of natural causes. So then it just has to carry me around for
You have your
years.
choice of electrocute, a whole bunch, even decapitation.
No, it just leaves me in a chest cavity until I die on
You
my
can
own.
choose poison, but don't hurt. That ain't painful.
I can choose starvation and it just don't let me eat. It just keeps me